Don't let me stray. Please guide my way onto the path of my being. Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah, I'm calling your name. Oh, Allah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to another edition of your favorite program, Let's Talk, of course, on your favorite channel, Huda TV, the premier, the pioneer, English-speaking Islamic channel in the whole universe. So please continue to support us. You guys on our social media websites, you know them all too well, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and all that great stuff. As you know, Let's Talk is a youth program discussing youth issues that are facing the Muslim youth all around the world, from San Francisco to Cairo to Pakistan to Nigeria. Wherever you may be, we are presenting issues that are relevant to you as Muslim youth, and inshallah ta'ala, we hope they are beneficial for you. And this episode is no different. In fact, we're going to be speaking about drug addiction with an emphasis on marijuana. And I believe this is an issue that's really swept under the rug in the Middle East, in Arabic-speaking countries, and it's a very important issue that should be addressed. And on the other hand, in the Western world, this is definitely a big problem that is being addressed in the public sphere, in the news. It is in the open forum, in public debate, this issue of legalizing marijuana, and the really recent epidemic of youth in the United States and Europe really developing drug addictions at an early age. So this is something that we should be aware of and speak about. Before I introduce my respected guests, I want you guys to take a quick look at this report, and after you watch this report, we will be right back, inshallah.
How perfect my Allah is, and I praise Him. Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi, Subhanallahi al-azim. How perfect you are, Allah, Subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Have you ever asked yourself, am I addicted to weed? Are you hiding a weed habit from friends and family? The following 12 questions may help you determine whether marijuana is a problem in your life. Number 1. Has smoking pot stopped being fun? Number 2. Do you ever get high alone? 3. Is it hard for you to imagine a life without marijuana? 4. Do you find that your friends are determined by your marijuana use? 5. Do you smoke marijuana to avoid dealing with your problems? 6. Do you smoke pot to cope with your feelings? 7. Does your marijuana use let you live in a privately defined world? 8. Have you ever failed to keep promises you made about cutting down or controlling your dope smoking? 9. Has your use of marijuana caused problems with memory, concentration, or motivation? 10. When your stash is nearly empty, do you feel anxious or worried about how to get more? 11. Do you plan your life around your marijuana use? Lastly, number 12. Have friends or relatives ever complained that your pot smoking is damaging your relationship with them? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you may have a problem with marijuana. These questions are from Marijuana Anonymous, a free support service for those who want to quit marijuana. To find a meeting near you, just Google Marijuana Anonymous.
Subhanahu wa ta'ala.
All right, you guys, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that report. As promised, we're going to speak about this issue from a personal, we're going to speak about personal experiences, personal testimonies about people who have smoked marijuana and become addicted to it, and who have stopped, and who have successfully moved on in their lives. And we'll show you more of those reports. And also, we want to show you guys reports about simply the negative effects of marijuana and what positive effects come from quitting. So that's what we hope to do for you guys, inshallah. Let me start with my right by introducing our guests. Brother, I think this is your first time on the show?
Inshallah.
Okay, well, welcome. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for being with us. And please give the viewers a little bit about yourself, how old you are, your full name, and let us know about who you are a little bit. Go ahead.
Okay, my name is Ahmed Al-Shafi'i, and I'm a graduate of Al-Azhar University.
Oh, wonderful. When did you graduate? What year?
2011.
Okay, wonderful.
And I'm 27 years old.
Wonderful.
Yes, I graduated in Islamic Studies of English.
Okay, wonderful.
I've been working as an English instructor since then.
Okay, I want to put you in touch later on with a great group of kids that run a program called Spread Your English. It's probably the premier English language speaking.
Yes, I know them, and one of them actually is.
He's in the studio with us.
Yeah,
Thank you for being with us. We certainly appreciate it. We're honored to have you.
Thank
I want to
you.
go to our next guest. Go ahead, brother.
Abdullah Amir, 24 years old, also like Al-Azhar graduate, but 2014. Like, technically
Allah,
speaking, I'm done,
great.
but I still have one more exam, inshallah, oral exam. 2 weeks, inshallah. Pray for me.
Inshallah.
I'm here, inshallah, with you today.
Hey, thank you so
So
much.
happy to Allah to be with
What
you.
about Spread Your English? You going to give this guy a job or what?
Yeah, inshallah, just come and apply.
Okay, good.
Like, don't worry. I have
Me too.
network. I have network
I'd
there.
be much obliged, actually.
Inshallah.
I need a job too, because
Okay.
I'm not a good English teacher. I don't know the verbs, I don't know the grammar, none of that stuff. So
I'll teach you everything.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Let's go over here. It's been a long time, brother. I'm very happy to see you again. So go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum.
I'm Mahmoud Sayed. I'm a teacher of Arabic as a foreign language in the U.S. And I teach English for Egyptians when I'm in Egypt. So
Wonderful. Well, you've been gone a while, so can you just share a little bit of information about where you've been, what you've been doing, just for the viewers?
I have been teaching Arabic for non-native speakers, like to Americans and people from other backgrounds, at the College of Holy Cross in Massachusetts.
Okay.
So, and now I'm back. I'll be back again soon.
Wonderful. I wanted to really quickly, before we move on to our topic and introduce our final guest, what were the majority of your students at the university? Were they, who wants to learn Arabic, essentially?
Some of them are heritage speakers, like they just want to learn to be able to communicate with their families back home, or some others are just like normal or regular American students who want to learn a foreign language to help them in their future careers.
Right, okay. By heritage speaker, interesting term, you mean people that were born to an Arabic-speaking family but perhaps don't speak Arabic?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful, great. All right, wonderful, excellent. Brother, go ahead, it's been a long time too. Where you been?
My name is Ahmed Ramadan.
Wonderful.
I'm from Fayoum. My full name is Ahmed Muhammad, but people call me Ahmed Ramadan. Some people call me Romeo.
Hi, and you're from Fayoum?
I'm from Fayoum.
Your neighbors?
I'm Mahmoud's friend.
And I think it's really hot right now in Fayoum, huh?
Yeah, pretty hot.
How hot was it?
43 yesterday.
Which was, I thought you said on your Facebook it's 108. 108 degree, yeah. Well, brother, thank you for being here. Tell us more about yourself.
Yeah, I'm an English teacher. I'm an English teacher. I teach English for adults.
Okay.
I work as a trainer in the Ministry of Youth, and I graduated from the Faculty of Arts, Department of English, 2010.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, so you were all looking to go to Spread Your English because we're all English teachers. You guys are all English
Guys,
teachers.
after finishing this, we'll go on there, okay? The same car, inshallah.
All right, now I want to talk about this marijuana issue. Look, how do you want to address it? Brother, I know you had a lot of, before this program you showed me you wrote a paper on this back in college.
Yes.
Can you share, would you like to begin by sharing with us some important, I know you can't mention the whole paper, but some of the most important points that you mentioned in that paper, and tell us why you wrote the paper and what it was about.
Some important points that hit me while writing this is now 2 states in the U.S. Have legalized the marijuana for use. If you are seen in the street with the marijuana in your hands, it's totally fine. It's legal, and some doctors now prescribe it for medication,
Okay.
which for me makes it worse because it's kind of you're turning black into white, you know.
Right.
So there is a survey, I think in the 80s or before, 80% of like middle school students, they believe that marijuana is harmful.
And how many years ago was this?
I think in the 80s.
Okay.
And like 5 years ago, the same survey showed that 58%, almost 60% of the students agree. Like there is a drop of the number of students who believe that how
Right.
harmful marijuana
Now,
is.
why do you think that is?
Because I think the media, it's now showing, it's the prevailing
Thing.
you
Yeah,
know.
it's like the first social thing that kids do.
And
Right.
marijuana, it's unlike anywhere. It's the age that people start using marijuana is like 12. So it's like 12 through high school, and then after high school, starting college, alcohol begins. Some people argue that alcohol is legalized, but it's not as harmful as marijuana. This is not true because marijuana has the same effect on drivers, the same effect that alcohol has.
Right.
So the response time of drivers is reduced after smoking marijuana for a long time.
Okay. Now, there's so many topics to touch. Let me just start by my right, and we'll go around, and everyone will share their thoughts. Let's talk about marijuana use as a medicine, because people say, "Hey, listen, medical marijuana. Marijuana does have medical purposes." So, what is your thoughts concerning that?
Actually, they are as a Muslim, or yes, as a Muslim youth, it is not allowed in Islam to get cured with something haram or with something illegal. Okay, and actually there are a lot of alternatives. So why doctors insist on something like this? It
Right.
is. I don't see a point
Or
in yes,
people.
Yes.
The people, I think people also are insisting on this too.
Actually, they are not insisting on this. Actually, they take it as a kind of a thing that make them forget about their issues, their problems, their sufferings, and
Right.
yes, it's like escapism.
Yeah,
Okay, they want to escape from from the reality and reduce its hardship on them. So they resort to such a thing to make
Right.
it.
Escapism, as you say, get away from my daily concerns and my responsibilities as a
Yes.
father or mother or student or whatever. I get your point. Brother Abdullah, what do you think?
Wallahi, yani, as you said, like right before we record this episode, great episode, you can take it as pills or something like this. It doesn't have to be like kind of smoking things, but like anything you smoke, even if like the leaf. I'm using an example. You understand me?
Right.
It harms like your lungs and like all of your like kind of system, and this is something bad. You understand me?
Yeah, definitely.
Like totally.
Yeah, and as I was mentioning when we were on the way here, you guys, look, if it was proven that it was permissible to use and it had medical benefits,
Yes.
then certainly the doctor wouldn't say, hey, go, okay, I prescribe you 10 joints from the guy on the street corner. No, you would go to a pharmacy where it would be given to you in a pill form, be passed by the Food and Drug Administration like this. This is joking, the way that they're doing this. I can smoke marijuana because my back hurts, or stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
We
go
have other alternatives, but I think the guys who are like selling those things or like controlling this kind of like trade, they're controlling also doctors and like kind of the people who have like those decision makers like to keep kind of saying marijuana. We have other alternatives, like we have medicine. Medicine is not only like kind of marijuana is not the cure of everything. But they just focus on it. Like
Yeah,
you have like this trade to continue all these things. That's my point of view.
Great point. Go ahead, brother. What are your thoughts about medical marijuana? Go ahead. Your thoughts.
I think it's if you make a drug more available, more permissible, the number of people using it will increase dramatically. And actually, the main effective substance in marijuana, which is THC, is the same effective substance in other medications like the Marinol. So there is no need for you to say like I'm taking it for medication or medical purposes, because if you are really taking it for medical purposes, there is an alternative to it. And also, some people who suffer from like headache or anything like this, they just take it as an excuse to use marijuana.
Certainly.
They go to the doctor and just show like, oh, I have this and I have that. Could you please prescribe me some marijuana? So yes.
I know. I come from Ukiah, California, and we definitely know this very well. It happens. Brother, thank you. Brother. What are your thoughts concerning medical marijuana?
Well, I don't have much information about the medical part like Mahmoud, but the point is, from a social point of view, it depends on the person's belief in God. Firstly, for example, there's lots and lots of problems in life. So he just, as my brother said, he just wants to escape from his reality. You know, it's all painful, and he wants to feel happy and to be away from the surroundings. Maybe lack of money, he doesn't work, unemployment. So all these problems affect him in a negative way. So he resorts to taking such kind of drugs as marijuana, just to feel happy, even for a few minutes.
Yeah, certainly.
And the first impression lasts, you know.
Yeah.
So he wants to do this more and more and more. Yeah.
And frankly speaking, we don't see people take it for medical purposes.
Yeah.
Most of the people, they take it, they gather together. Some youth, they gather together and they smoke. They make, like, we call it in Egypt, they make dimag. Okay. Yes. Yes. So they don't take it for medical purposes. And yes, actually they are free. They don't have anything to do. Yes. And the Prophet, peace be upon him, highlighted this in one of the hadiths. He said 2 blessings most of the people lose. Okay. Yes. Their health. Okay, and the free time. So most of people are deceived in these. They mess, you know, they don't take advantage of their time well, actually. So they don't have time to do. They have much of free time in their life. So they resort to such a thing, to just pass time or to flew time by. Why do they do that? Such a thing?
We have to take a break. That's a great point, though, considering you don't know when your time is up, so it's important to optimize every moment. You guys, we're going to take a short break. When we get back, we're going to speak about the list of top 10 countries among marijuana use. You're going to be very interested to see who's on that list. You guys stay tuned. We'll be right back.
How perfect my Allah is, and I praise Him. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanallah. How perfect you are, Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Imagine that the Anbiya, they were the most beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they had the hardest times.
He assumed that he had some kind of superiority and he was a better, more chosen, you know, better person because he had this wealth. And then you look at all the other people who had wealth, and some of them were the worst people. You had Fir'aun and
reviving your niyyah time and again, that you're doing insincerely for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Most of the youth, they think, oh, I'm going to pray when I'm old, it's okay now, I'll have fun in my life. Later on I'll work, I'll grow my beard, I'll pray 5 times a day. And all these things, they think that's later on in their life, and they don't know when they will die.
Amira, who's your role model?
Khadija radiallahu anha.
And why?
Because she was Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's wife, and she was the first lady to believe in Islam.
Subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah.
Welcome back to our program, Let's Talk. In this episode, we're talking, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about drug addiction, specifically speaking about marijuana addiction, the negative consequences of smoking marijuana. We know this is a youth issue that's affecting the youth all around the Muslim world, here in the Middle East and abroad, in Europe and America. Indeed, it's taken as something lightly in many countries in the Western world, and here in the Middle East, it's kind of swept under the rug. So we want to talk about that, put it out there, be honest about it. I promised you guys a list of the top 10 countries with regards to marijuana consumption per capita. You'll be interested to see who's on that list. Alhamdulillah, you'll see who's on the list. We'll talk about it after we take a look at this report, and we will be right back after the report, you guys, so stay tuned.
How perfect my Allah is, and I praise Him. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanallah. How perfect you are, Allah,
is it that influences your thought process? And what is it that will change your decisions in the future? Now, if you've tried to quit weed more than once before and you ended up stoned anyway, regardless of that decision, what was it that made you smoke weed that time as opposed to sometime in the future when you know you're going to follow through and finally quit weed, right? Well, the answer is your feelings or your emotions. Okay, if you are human, your behavior is based on your feelings, and so is your decisions. Everybody just wants more pleasure and less pain, but your actual decision and what drives your behavior is always emotions. So it becomes pretty obvious. If you want to change this, and that is what is controlling it, you need to change that. And in this case, it's your emotions. Well, how do you change your emotions? Your emotions are actually determined by your perception of whatever it is you're making a decision about, or whatever it is that you want to change in your life. So what you need to do is, if you want to be able to quit weed, you need to change your paradigm or your perception of quitting weed. And I'll show you why right now. So what happens is this. You want to quit weed, and you kind of have a certain perception of what quitting weed means to you. Most likely because you've done it before and you've had problems with it. And what that does is that creates certain emotions about the whole experience you're about to go through, even before you get there. So you've made the decision already, but then the real decision comes up. This is what we call a brick wall. And it's the time that matters, basically. It's the time where you've already said you're going to quit weed to yourself, and then you've run out of marijuana. The day that you said you were going to quit has now come up, or your friends got marijuana, throwing it in the face, wanting you to smoke weed, and the whole time you know that you've promised yourself you're going to quit weed. So someone that first comes to this decision, or to this point, probably won't recognize it for what it is. And they already have been smoking weed. They decided they were going to quit. They still have emotion attached to marijuana. So when someone flashes it in their face, or they feel like it, or whatever the hell happens, they're going to choose to smoke weed. But what that does is it enforces a negative paradigm. It forces a bad perception about what you've done with marijuana. So what happens is you continue to go on with your life, and this could be any time period. It really could be. It could be, it could be 1 week, it could be 3 years, right? It doesn't really matter how long you continue with marijuana culture, but eventually you're going to come back to wanting to quit marijuana again. So what happens this time is you say, all right, I'm really going to quit weed, and now you see it as a much bigger hurdle. So you've actually got stronger emotions attached to it. And with the stronger emotions, you come to this point again. The brick wall is now bigger, and not only that, but you can't see as well what it's like to quit marijuana, because now you've got emotion attached to trying to quit weed and failing because you've done it before. You've enforced in your mind, you've internalized the fact that you can't quit weed because it's difficult. You've been through it before, and you're starting back here with too much emotion attached to what's going on. Okay, and you don't really feel it. You're not super emotional. None of that sort of thing happens, but it's just very mild, but it continues to happen. And the only problem with it is people get so used to doing this, and they keep going this way. And the problem with the whole thing is that people get so used to just bypassing the decision.
Subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah.
Welcome back from the report there, you guys. As promised before the report, I promised you guys to give you the top 10 lists of countries according to Wikipedia. I have to say I can't vouch for its authenticity or how valid that it is, but indeed it was on Wikipedia, the top 25 countries rather, with regards to consumption of marijuana per citizen. And I've narrowed those down to the top 10. Now, I want to ask my respected guests, do you want me to start from 10 to 1 or 1 to 10?
10 to 1.
10 to 1, you guys? Okay. Number 10 is the so-called State of Israel, and it's had 8.9%. So every citizen there, out of 100, 8.9%, almost 9 per 100 smoke marijuana. Does that surprise you guys, or what do you think? You thought it would be lower or higher, or what?
I felt like it's a way lower than this, because, the media is kind of exaggerating about how Israel is amazing and fantastic and developed, and the culture and civilized and all.
And then you find them already getting high.
Yeah.
Okay.
8.9.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a little. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. What about number 10? Let's just say it's one of their friends. Who do you think number 10 is? Maybe they do it together. Who's number 9? Number 9 is the United States of America.
Oh, really?
At 13.7%. Now, you You just came back from the States. Do you think that's a good number, or lower or higher?
I think it might be higher.
Yeah.
Actually, I have read another piece of information. It says that the U.S. is ranked the 17th, but all over the North American and European countries.
Okay.
But from what I have seen there, the usage might be like a bit higher than this.
Did you find it rampant in among undergraduates?
Yes.
Even your students, you see it's okay. Yeah. No. I agree. I know where I come from in California. Definitely is. I would venture to say it has to be 30-40% or something.
Yeah. Sometimes you're just walking like by campus or on campus, which is like somewhere where it's really illegal, and you can't smell it very obviously.
Yeah, certainly, yeah. Now, what about number 7 is Andorra, Italy, and New Zealand. They all tied at 14.6%.
14.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, 14.6. So almost 15%. About that's a lot. Number 6 was the Czech Republic. Number 5. Well, now we get into some. Now we're leaving. Now we're going to the South Pacific region, Guam, which is the island country in the South Pacific, 18.4%. Oh, excuse me, Sierra Leone. Now it gets a little bit sad. We do see a Muslim country. If I'm not mistaken, Sierra Leone is populated by Muslims, 16.1%. Okay, Guam, 18.4%. Ghana, 21.5%.
21.
This is sad. I believe Ghana is a Muslim country.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think so.
No, it's not. It's not.
Muslim.
Nigeria is a Muslim country, but not Ghana.
Okay.
Ghana?
But it has many.
It has some population.
I'm sure it has significant. Maybe it's the other guys, not our guys. So now you have the Northern Mariana Islands, 22%, Palau, 24%, Papua New Guinea, 29%. So a lot of people do smoke marijuana. So we want to give them a couple of reasons, especially the youth. I want you guys all to give them 2 or 3 good reasons why they shouldn't smoke marijuana. Because look, if you talk about the medical benefits or this and that, people don't care. They want to do it. People want to follow their desires. So can everybody give me 1, 2, or 3 examples, practical reasons why not smoke marijuana? One reason I can give, I made a list here, is simply forgetfulness. That's one reason not to smoke marijuana. You can't remember anything. You forget everything. What do you think, brother? Go ahead. Give the youth a couple reasons why not to smoke marijuana.
Okay, actually, the first reason they shouldn't do such a thing, okay, is for Allah. Okay, so if you're watching Allah, you're not doing it, okay, because before you have to do anything, you have to offer it, offer it to Allah's scale. Is it acceptable or not? Okay, and second of all, actually, does it good for you? Does it add something for you? Yes. Okay, no. Is it? No, it's not. Actually, so what does it do to your health? Is it doing you a favor? Is it doing you something extra? No, actually, it's destroying you. So stop doing it.
Yeah. Thank you, brother. Yeah, go ahead.
Firstly, I want to kind of define the addiction. What's an addiction? Like it's kind of something, an obsession, compulsion, an excessive use or an excessive kind of psychological independence or maybe physical independence. You know, me. And wallahi subhanallah, when you find Islam, it's has this culture of modernism. You know, you have moderate of everything. So these are excessive things. Like you use the marijuana for medical reasons, I respect you, but you use it for kind of get high or all these things, you don't get any kind of something positives or something good into your life. 2 reasons. Firstly, you're wasting your time and money. You can use them in very kind of use them to add something positive in your life, or maybe someone else, volunteer or something like this. Make sure kind of it has lots of social problems, reveal secrets sometimes, and people get mad at you because you revealed one of their secrets. Makes you kind of isolated. We as as a human being, we kind of were born to be and live in a nature society. I mean in what kind of things
among people, social,
we be social,
have friends, and interaction.
Yeah, but you're isolating yourself and going there and you're hiding. If you're hiding to do something, it's bad. You understand me? Can you smoke marijuana in
front of your parents?
Yeah, in front of your parents, kind of in the middle of the streets? No. So you're doing something bad. Anything you do while you're hiding, it's something bad. Okay. So you're wasting your time and money, and you're revealing secrets. You're making yourself isolated, introverted person, and this is not the person is. Human being.
Yeah. Thank you, brother. Well, as a teacher now, can you share your experiences? Perhaps as a teacher, you can give an advice to students why they shouldn't smoke marijuana, and maybe you can look at the difference between the students that did and didn't.
Okay. Actually, as I have mentioned before, the population of who use marijuana is like from age 12 to like 21.
Oh, right, okay.
So what I want to say is specifically for students, by the age of 25, the behavioral center in your frontal cortex in the brain, it's not fully developed. So if you're using it before the age of 25, you're losing too much of your brain capacity.
Yeah, thank you, because I did read, brother, that it can have a permanent effect on your memory
Loss of
capacity.
memory, hand-eye coordination, like many behavioral things too.
Okay.
Some of them, like psychological issues, might arise or increase because of use of marijuana, and there are some studies on this that show
like anxiety, paranoia,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, brother.
Some studies show that people under 25 suffer more than people over 25.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing those important points. What do you think, brother? Can you give the youth a couple of reasons why not to smoke marijuana?
Yeah, actually, I find it much surprising for finding a Muslim country like Sierra Leone. People there smoke marijuana. It's one of the top 10 countries that take marijuana. The point is, I'm addressing my speech now to the Muslim people because, you know, it's my religion. And first of all, just think about your relationship with God. Take marijuana and then come to pray. Can you pray while you are intoxicated or you lose your consciousness? So you can pray. That's one thing. Another thing, financially, think about the money you waste upon things which are useless, and you know your relationship with the people. So yeah, all the time you have to hide and to take this kind of drugs. So this makes a kind of you are introvert. You know your relationship with people, you're not sociable anymore.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna be a successful person in your life because to be successful you have to communicate with people.
Yeah, certainly.
So most of the time you'll lose your consciousness, you'll be away from the world around you. So it's something, of course, that makes you not a good person or a person who
effective, not an effective person. Yeah. Thank you, brother. Forgetfulness. I also want to mention haziness, because if you really want to say, for example, learn the Book of Allah or the Hadith of the Prophet, peace on him, then it's not going to help you. This is going to make your mind less efficient, and you're not going to be able to retain information. Did you want to add something?
Yes, I want to add something. Look at the people who do such a thing with you. Okay, let's be honest with ourselves. Are these such people you'd like to meet your God with? Okay, I don't think so. These people actually, they are taking you're gathering together to do something actually that gets you closer from hellfire and gets you away from Allah. Because do you remember Allah while doing such a thing? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, and whoever وَمَنْ يَعْشُ عَنْ ذِكْرِ الرَّحْمَنِ نُقَيِّضْ لَهُ شَيْطَانًا فَهُوَ لَهُ قَرِينٌ. Those who are blinded of Allah's remembrance, okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accompany them by a devil. Okay, he will be there. He will be in their company for life. So, and why? And they are deviating them from the right and the correct path. وَإِنَّهُمْ لَيَصُدُّونَهُمْ عَنِ السَّبِيلِ. And they think they are righteous and they are in the correct path. And this is not true. Okay, so think of Allah first, guys. We're Muslims. This is not our message. This is actually. We are here to do everything that pleasing God. Okay, you are gathering with whom to do such a thing, and don't you want to be with people can lend you a hand and support you in your way to God? I believe that you want such a thing. So stop doing it and think of other people who can support you and lend you a hand in your way to Allah.
Yeah, thank you so much. And you know, I want to point out also, Brother Abdullah. You know, we do have the hadith in the first of the Imam Nawawi.
Yes.
The hadith of intention. Everybody knows this, and so I'm wondering, what is your intention when you're doing this? I mean, it can't be good. It's not productive. Even if it's, I don't have a bad intention. Well, it's not a good one. You know, it's at least, to say the least, wasting time. And I want to go on to another topic that's a little bit taboo, that people don't talk about on Islamic channels, or people don't want to talk about, but it's a proven fact that smoking marijuana decreases your sexual drive. Now, a lot of young people want to get married. A lot of them, they can't wait. They have this drive and this passion in themselves, and they're waiting to get married. And I've been there. I know how it was before I was married. So marijuana kills that. I mean, marijuana kills that. You lose your. That's a medical fact. So I think that's important to mention for the youth too.
Like if you can read, if you're a person who is able to read, please, before you do anything like this, please read the effects, the consequences of this, and believe me, you will be discussed. You'll be I'm not doing this for forever. You understand me?
Yeah.
And we have a hadith also, to continue, brothers, a great speech. If it's intoxicated, in a great amount, as I told you, it's unlawful. It's prohibited in a smaller amount. So marijuana, you couldn't be high, maybe after one joint or two, as you mentioned. Maybe after a while, you get this and this and addicted, and this is physical independence and psychological independence. This is bad.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah. That's a great point. I want to mention another point over here on my left. What about demotivation? Demotivation, and as a teacher, and just as the friends I went back to the United States for a visit a couple months ago, and I found a couple of my neighbors, man, they're my good friends growing up. I left there, it's been 6-7 years, I don't know. It's been a long time, okay? I went back and I found them doing the same thing, which was smoking marijuana and not having a job. So we're going to take a short break. After the break, I want to talk about this demotivating factor that marijuana does to people that smoke it. You guys stay tuned. We'll be right after the break. We'll be right back after the break, inshallah.
My alliance and I praise Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi Subhanallah, how perfect you are, Allah, Subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Only if we knew Allah, we would truly worship Him.
How can you worship someone you don't even know?
We would love Him, fear Him, and have hope in His mercy.
Wallahi, wallahi, wallahi. And I challenge anyone in the earth, anyone in the world, to tell me one time in their life that they took the means and they put their trust in Allah and Allah let them down.
Subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah.
Welcome back to Let's Talk. You guys were talking about marijuana, drugs in general, marijuana in particular, and we're going over topics here, points, encouraging youth to stop smoking it. It's not beneficial by any means. In fact, it is destructive to building a better future. I want to go to Brother Mahmoud really quick before we go to the report. I see it as demotivating because although people say, look, it's not that harmful, at least it's harmful to your motivation. Because I see a lot of kids, now they're in their early 30s like me, and they haven't moved on from what they were doing since their teenage years, which is smoking marijuana.
Again, it's what Brother Ahmed mentioned, is it gives them the good feeling. So if they come out to the real life, life of work, life of responsibility, life of taking care of others, and they are just kind of comparing this to that. If they are comparing the responsibility they have upon their shoulders and the time they have, the good time they have when they are high, of course they would prefer to just stay home, do nothing, and be high, feeling good, than to be responsible to to take care of their families or their parents, or to at least find a job, as you have mentioned.
Yeah, of course. So we're going to come to you after this report, brother. You guys don't go anywhere. Take a look at this report, and we will be right back, inshallah.
How perfect my alliance and I praise Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi Subhanallah, how perfect you are, Allah, Subhanahu wa ta'ala.
The first time I drank, I got drunk. And I vividly remember being invited to a party. I was in the 7th grade, and a friend of mine's sister bought us a pint of Old Forester, and there were 4 of us boys. We went under a bridge right on the way to this party and twisted the top off of it, and I watched the first 2 boys open it, take a sip, both of them spit it out. It burned their mouth, said, "Oh, this stuff is awful." And I said, "Here, give it to me." And I distinctively remember taking a big swallow, swallowing it, it burned going down, but all of a sudden I was warm inside. And I said, "This is great, give me that bottle." My 3 friends that were there were all amazed. They said, "You like that stuff?" And I said, "That's nothing wrong with this." And I proceeded to drink almost all of the bottle myself. We went on to a party. I proceeded to get sick, get all kinds of attention at the party with vomit all over myself. I was taken home that night. I was met by my mother. She asked what happened, and it was the start of a lot of enabling that was very characteristic of my relationship with my mother, because when I told her I'd been drinking, I said, "Someone spiked the punch," and she said, "Oh, you poor baby, come in here, let me give you an aspirin, an Alka-Seltzer, go to sleep." I woke up the next morning. She met me with an aspirin and a glass of water, and it was not my fault. It was somebody else's fault, and I learned how to make my behavior somebody else's fault and not be responsible from that point on. And after that, anytime I drank to get drunk. I remember I'd get up when I was in college and I'd go into the bathroom and I'd look in the mirror and I looked like I felt like and I'd say, "This stuff's just got to stop. You can't go on like that." And then I'd say, "Yeah, but not today." And I had no hope. I had nowhere to go. One of the sad things is I'd sit around with my roommates and we had these pathetic dreams. "Oh yeah, someday," one of my roommates thought he was going to get a trust fund at 30, and he said, "I'm going to get this yacht and it's going to be you and me on the yacht, you know, when I'm 30. And I'm thinking, dude, I ain't going to make 30, you know, at the rate I'm going. I really didn't think I was, but the dreams that I had and the outlooks were just sad, very pitiful. At Thanksgiving of that year, I was to go home and see my mom, and at this point, I knew enough to know if I took anything, I could not predict my behavior. And so I had not taken anything at all for 2 days. I'd gone cold turkey, because anytime I took a drink of alcohol or took a drug, I could not tell you where I was going to end up or when it would stop. And we went down to my grandparents' bay house for Thanksgiving dinner. As I came out of this seizure, my grandmother had her hands laid on me and she was praying. My family was around me, and I really thought I'd like died and was in heaven or something. It was so strange, but I'll never forget looking around and seeing my brothers and sister and mother and grandmother and seeing the hurt and the pain in their eyes. And I didn't care about myself at this point. I wish I had died, but I still had a conscience, and I could look at them and see that they cared about me and that I'd hurt them very much, and they were scared and didn't know.
Subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah.
You guys, welcome back to Let's Talk. I hope you benefited from the report. A really quick note I wanted to mention to the youth. A lot of the youth, they look at these rap singers and athletes, and they think that because they portray themselves as people that smoke marijuana, it's cool to get high and all this. In fact, most of those people don't. It's just an image that they're projecting to you, and then you guys do it. They don't do that stuff. Most of them don't have any relationship with the music they make and the lifestyle that they present to you through the media and what they actually do. So don't be fooled. Brother Abdullah, what did you want to say?
I just want to tell you a story happened to me. Like when I was in the States, like for 10 months, I was really like kind of, alhamdulillah, like I was close to Allah. I was really like doing like good stuff. I was like kind of praying on time. I was like really close to Allah. I was really happy. I found like the real happiness when I really was like, alhamdulillah, I'm always like smiling and happy. So they were asking me, Abdullah, why are you happy? You're taking drugs or something? Like, you know, I'm always happy. Guys, like, that's me. That's like, you know, or like if you're a true Muslim, like you find yourself like, wallahi, like happy all the time. Like satisfied with everything you have, and like happy for your future, like all your present and everything. And they're like, they go and like drink, like kind of smoke marijuana, all the kind of drugs, like to get intoxicated and kind of feel happy. And that's why like they just like kind of put their happiness in drugs,
in a bottle or in a joint.
Right. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you a brain. and you use this brain like to be conscious, not to be like kind of you know intoxicated, something like this. So please use it wisely.
Right.
You understand?
And go ahead, brother.
Yeah. You know, the way to happiness for the people who take marijuana or drugs, they don't know the way to happiness. They find this is the only way to be happy is to take such kind of substance. Yeah. So we have to think about the reasons. Why have they lost the track?
Right.
Why have they lost the track? Yeah.
Right.
And you know, think like them, to have their mentality and think like them.
Right.
First of all, there's much free time. Secondly, lack of money and the conditions of life are pretty harsh. And my family, my father or my mother, you know, my parents, they don't care about me. For example, I want lots of things, and they don't satisfy. They don't provide me with what I want. So it's the parents' turn to get closer to their sons or daughters, whoever, and you know, to be close to them. Yeah.
Sure.
So you take this. You have to be educational in dealing with the problems regarding addiction to drugs. So to be close to them, to convince them practically that this is wrong, and then to convince them to try to do something that, you know, minimize their free time, like, you know, doing sports and like join a course.
Right.
You know, to do such, you know, these things that are beneficial to them. Yeah. So you have to think practically, not you know, spiritually. Like they don't know that if they give up taking marijuana, they'll be close to God. They don't know that. They don't think in such a way.
Yeah. Right.
So we have to think, you know, you have to think like them firstly, and to convince them, but practically that this is wrong and this is right.
Yeah. Right.
This is the left way, left side. This is completely wrong. And you know, if you think like that, it will affect on you
in a bad way. Yeah.
In a bad way. Yeah.
One point is that wealthy people smoke it too. By the way, I want to talk about that. Go ahead.
Okay. You know, we have in Arabic an adage that says, النفس إن لم تشغلها بالحق شغلتك بالباطل. So if you didn't occupy yourself by truth, okay, it will occupy you by falsehood. Yes. So you have to be clever. Okay. I've got one of my friends, okay, who was addicted to such things, and not only marijuana, it was something like bigger than this. Okay. But actually, when he said, "Oh, I didn't enjoy any minute of it." Actually, yes, I didn't enjoy when he quit it, and alhamdulillah, when he is rehabilitated and he's totally sound and cured, he felt like, yes, every minute in my life is a blessing and I have to enjoy it. So you have to enjoy every minute in your life. It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala giving you a blessing, a new day. So a lot of people, they were not given that new day. So you have to take advantage of this new day, because Allah is going to hold you accountable for every minute and every second in it. So it's for you. Enjoy it. Yeah. Don't destroy it.
Thank you, brother. You know what I wanted to mention also was wealthy people do this because it's not always about, you know, you're poor, you don't have. Some wealthy people engage in this behavior, and perhaps that's because they have no spirituality, they don't know who their Lord is, and they're disconnected from that. And that's why where Islamic speakers can come in and give them a good message. I want to talk about academics, dropout rate. I don't have any numbers here, but I'm sure there's got to be a high correlation between people that smoke marijuana, and I'm sure they have a higher dropout rate than people that don't. Do you agree with that statement or not?
I do, but although I don't stand on like scientific ground on that. But I mean, even if it's not about dropout, it's about like poor academic performance.
Good point.
Because don't say like, oh, I can manage taking marijuana and I still didn't drop out, because it's not about the idea of dropping out. You might still be enrolled, but how good is your performance?
Right. Yeah.
Is
good
that
point.
Is that your full capacity?
Yeah.
Or you feel like you're miles behind?
I mean, that's a good point. It's not enough to say, hey, I'm enrolled in college, guys.
Yeah,
I mean,
good.
You want to do good now. Good point. What about the drug culture among students, you guys? Like, when you do something illegal and you have to hide, then it creates, if you're doing something wrong, then it creates kind of like this culture of, hey guys, let's go get high and hide, and criminal kind of behavior. I mean, do you agree with that, Abdullah?
I don't agree with this kind of behavior.
I mean, it kind of it leads you to more criminality, right?
See, like everything that has a step. You understand? Like for example, like you go for like kind of one time you smoke a joint with your friends, and then 2 or 3 or 4, and then become a habit, and then you start like kind of speaking about well, dhikrullah, like speaking about Allah and subhanahu wa ta'ala and Islam and all the things that feature, no, for sure.
That's
So like I speak about like bad things, bad
Right.
company, all these things. So you're gonna like, oh, you might go like on a bad way.
That's a great point. Listen, brother, there's a lot of points here I want to make briefly. We only have 3 minutes left. I want to go to you for the final word of advice. But let me just go over my points here. Marijuana smokers report low life satisfaction and poor mental and physical health. They report more relationship problems, less academic and career success, higher dropout rate. I did have those numbers. I forgot to mention it. And they have more. They're late to work and cannot hold a job as long as people that do not smoke it. Also, health, real quick. More lung problems, just like people that smoke cigarettes. Daily cough, phlegm, chest illness, lung problems. Study also shows that marijuana smokers have more health problems. They miss more work, increased heart rate, hallucinations, paranoia, depression, suicidal thoughts, anxiety. All this stuff is reportedly higher in marijuana smokers. Now, look. Now, if you're watching and look, the person watching smokes marijuana now. So we give him all this negative information. Brother Mahmoud, I want you to give a final word of advice to somebody at home that wants to quit, but perhaps they can't.
Actually, it's kind of steps. You cannot totally quit marijuana or tobacco or anything that you're addicted to like at once. Even in Islam, like alcohol when it was prohibited, it was prohibited on degrees. So it's I would suggest for smokers to have it this way, to have like lower dosages of marijuana, and then like fewer times, lower doses, and then seek good company. Seek someone who could keep you busy away from this. It might be a friend, it might be a family member, it might be your teacher. And then try to practice a sport. Try to keep yourself busy, and you can help yourself by being as simple as writing the harmful effects of marijuana, like on pieces of paper, and just stick it around your room.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah.
To remind you from time to another.
Okay, thank you, brother. Thank you. I really appreciate it. We're out of time.
Actually, I want to
Real quickly.
highlight something my brother said, okay, which is the company. Yes. Okay, keeping a good company that will help you a lot, quitting such a thing, okay? We have something in Arabic said, Al-mar'u ala dini khalili. Or in English?
It's hadith, yeah?
Yes. Okay, and in English they say, birds of the feather flock together.
Right.
So look for other birds, okay?
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, brother.
Okay,
Thank you for those final points. And we're going to have to end it now if you guys don't mind.
No problem.
Sure. Okay, thank you guys. You guys, thank you for watching. One more point I wanted to add. You can also make like a small hijrah. You know, I know people that they were committed to quit, but the people around them were still smoking, so they moved in another city within their state or wherever they were, or change apartment buildings, or whatever they did to change the environment, which was very helpful. All right, you guys, I certainly appreciate you guys watching. I hope it benefited you. Until next time, we leave you in the care of Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Perfect my Allah, yes, and I praise. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi. Subhanallah, how perfect you are, Allah. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi. Subhanallah, how perfect you are, Allah. Subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah, Allah, Subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah, Allah, I'm calling your name, Allah, I call you, I need you, Allahu Akbar, Allah, your mercy is great.